Just about set for first pitch here at Daikin Park in Houston. The Athletics won round one of this four-game series. Here's the game time weather, which is presented by Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. It's been hot and muggy in Houston. It's raining outside, but we've got a domed environment here at Daikin Park. So 84 degrees outside, and the orange-clad Houston Astros are taking the field. Let's not start with them. Let's start with the A's lineup, which is brought to you by your Northern California Honda dealers. It's Carlos Cortez after a tremendous start last night, leading off, followed by Kurtz and Rooker. Langeliers and then Soderstrom. Jacob Wilson will bat 6th tonight. Butler 7th, Urshela 8th, and Max Schumann batting 9th.
And it has been quite a road to the big leagues for the man on the mound tonight, and that is Ryan Gusto. 13 starts under the belt of Ryan Gusto. If you count tonight, you see the record 6-3 over 76 2/3 innings pitched for the right-hander. And as I mentioned, it has taken some grit and some guts and really just going for the gusto to get Ryan Gusto to the big leagues. And we'll talk about it.
So the defense behind Ryan Gusto will look like this. Cooper Hummel in left, Chas McCormick in center, and Cam Smith in right. Dubon and Walker on the corners, Short and Altuve up the middle. 3 Gold Glovers on the infield with Yainer Diaz behind the plate, and the right-handed starter Ryan Gusto on the mound.
Well, we saw Jose Altuve out in the outfield, now back in a position that I think everybody is familiar with seeing him in, a position he is very familiar with, and that's at second base. Well, we're just waiting to get some folks off the diamond, off the playing surface, and home plate umpire Scott Berry will fire it up and get this party started.
So Gusto versus Cortez. Right-hander, compact windup and pitch, and it swung through and missed. We are underway in Houston. We know about Carlos Cortez in the minor leagues, .322, 17 home runs and 77 batted in across 71 games, the AAA Las Vegas. There's strike 2, 0-2 quickly, but he made an immediate impact in his first career start last night, collecting a sacrifice fly RBI, the first of his major league career, then an outfield assist, the first of his major league career, followed up by his first big league hit. 0-2, swing and miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, 1 out for Gusto.
Well, first pitch of the ball game, about 94. Gusto running this one up to 96. Very early on attacking with that fastball. Even though you see Yainer Diaz have to reach back across. Just beat Cortez to the inside.
So here's Kurtz now, the DH tonight, fouling away the first pitch. Umpiring crew tonight. Let's start behind the plate. Scott Berry, the home plate umpire. C.B. Buckner at first. Adam Beck at second. And the crew chief, Dan Iasonia, is at third. So 0-1 to Kurtz is at .288 on the season. And it is steadily climbing. 0-1, driven the other way and down for a hit. Hummel moves over to get it, and it'll be a long single for Kurtz. That extends his hitting streak to 12 games.
Well, Chris, you took us around the horn, introduced us to the crew. Let's take a closer look at the tendencies of our man behind the plate, Scott Berry. First MLB umpire with a visible tattoo sleeve on his upper right arm, as you see there, and I love it because it is dedicated to his late wife, who did pass away from colon cancer. And I think that's a lovely, lovely tip of the cap and a nod, not only by Mr. Berry, but by Major League Baseball as well. I think to understand as they continue to move forward and keep up with the times. You know, we all express ourselves in very different ways, but for Mr. Berry, to be able to have his best friend and his wife with him every step of the way out here on the diamond, I know means a lot to him.
1-0 to Rooker, bouncing ball to third. It goes foul.
Well, I'm not quite sure how foul that was. I think Mauricio Dubon, the way he reacted to the play, felt like it may have been a little closer than it was. You see that ball apparently just on the other side of that foul line as it crossed over the bag.
So Rooker has a 1-ball, 1-strike count. 1 for 4 he went last night with a run scored in the Athletics' 5-2 victory, snapping their 4-game losing streak, also snapping Houston's 4-game winning streak. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Gusto coming right after him with that fastball. The pitch he uses a lot, 46% of the time you're getting that four-seam fastball. He's got a curve, a cutter, a sinker, a sweeping slider, a changeup, and he does feature the traditional gyro slider. You probably see that gyro slider more to the left-handers than the right-handers, looking to sweep that slider away with a little more lateral movement to the right-handers.
Two balls and 2 strikes to Rooker. But Gusto will fire over to first. Kurtz back in, standing up. Rooker in left field, his 6th game in left this season. So they're steadily getting him out more on the defensive side of the ball this year. It's a good thing to see. Has done well in the corner outfield spots. 2-2 pitch, and he swings through a fastball and misses. Another strikeout for Gusto, 2 away on his 2 strikeouts.
Well, we'll take you back to June 16th. Earlier this season, Gusto squared off against the green and gold back in West Sac and had himself a decent ball game. 5 innings, just 3 hits allowed, punched out 8. Remember, Gusto had some folks in the ballpark. He was born in Santa Rosa, California. Drafted by the Astros in 2019. Called Carolina home. That's where he grew up.
Which one of the Carolinas? There's 2 of them.
North Carolina. Tar Heel territory.
You ever been to North Carolina?
I would have no reason to go to North Carolina.
Whitewater rafting? That seems like right up your alley.
When you got the best whitewater rafting in the country in West Virginia, that's probably where you go, which is where I go.
1-1, pop back foul. There's a little bit of animosity in your voice. Is there the competitive flair between West Virginia and North Carolina that I don't know about?
Not necessarily. I just learned very quickly and very early that West Virginia does have some of the best, if not the best, rapid offerings in the country / the world. And I was not aware of that, but I was made aware of that very quickly. Years ago.
I think you and Emo are going to have a conversation about North Carolina that you're not going to like.
I've got numbers.
1-2 breaking ball lifted high and deep to left field. Hummel on the run. He's still going at the track and by the wall. It is a foul ball.
Well, I think what we'll see on the replay here is a fan's going to reach over the wall and grab this thing, and it's not really going to matter because it's foul. You can see where this ball ends up, and it's close, but foul nonetheless.
I thought after Simeon's home run a few games ago where it scraped the left field foul pole, we wouldn't see one that close again, and we do now.
Well, and that one, remember, that ball did shoot right off that foul pole, and it ricocheted down into the stands, so you couldn't really see the ball travel. You weren't sure quite where it ended up.
Shea's been swinging a hot stick over his last 7, 385 with 2 homers and 7 batted in. It's 10 for 26. Did go 0 for 3, however. The sacrifice fly in the 5th inning last night. Gusto's 1-2 pitch. Now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kurtz on first after extending his hitting streak to 12 games with an opposite field single. Right side open for Langoliers. Gusto's 2-2. Foul back.
Looks like Gusto wants to climb that ladder with the fastball once he gets ahead. Maybe even just with 2 strikes, he likes that fastball up top, something we have seen here twice with Cortez and with Brent Rooker. Langoliers able to foul that off.
The next 2-2. Sprayed foul. Gusto at home this year, 3-2, 5.29 ERA in 12 games, where he has started 8 of those 12. 296 opponent average when pitching at home. And here comes pitch number 8 of this battle. Ripped into left, a base hit. What an at-bat by Langoliers, and he keeps the inning going for Soderstrom.
Fantastic at bat. He spoiled the put-away fastball a few times. You finally get him to come back down into the strike zone. And Shea put a great swing on it. It's one of those battles where if you're Gusto, you almost just kind of got to take a little walk around the mound, try to gather yourself a bit. You don't want to let the frustration of that at-bat leak into this at-bat here, especially with 2 outs. Tyler Soderstrom, who can hurt you should you leave that mistake middle.
Very good fastball hitter. And a breaking ball laced into the alley left center. McCormick on the run. It drops down and goes all the way to the wall. Kurtz will score. Here comes Langoliers, and Soderstrom has a 2 RBI double. The A's lead early.
And Sodi all over it. Gusto just trying to get ahead. Probably thinking quality pitch, first strike in his mind. And Tyler Soderstrom was waiting. And the fact that Sodi able to stay on this breaking ball that was elevated up, out. I mean, that's away. McCormick can't get to it. He can't even knock it down. That ball gets all the way to the wall. 2 runs come around to score.
And now an opportunity for Wilson, who takes low. Tyler Soderstrom collects RBIs 58 and 59 of his season. The A's lead 2-0 now. Wilson batting in the 6th spot. Hitless over his last 4 games, looking to change that here and now in a successful first of offense. There's the first strike, 1-1.
Well, again, Sodi just staying on it, but very awkward effort there from McCormick, who not only wasn't able to get to it, but even just stop it.
He seemed frustrated with himself after the ball landed. Hummel was there to back it up.
Well, you saw the way the ball hit, and it sort of checked up instead of bouncing and continuing its flight. And I think that's kind of what caught him by surprise.
2-1 to Wilson. Fouled back right above us. 2-2. Well, for Jacob, you saw that 311 average. It's still one of the best in Major League Baseball, but his average has dropped 28 points since the start of July. Had an off day last night, now batting 6th here tonight. You can see the note, no hits in his last 17 chances. But he's worked the count full, now 3-2.
An opportunity here to get a big 2-out knock, keep this line moving. See where he sits right there on that average list. 5th in baseball.
3-2 payoff pitch, ground ball up the middle and through for a base hit. Soderstrom will come around to score, and Wilson has an RBI single. It's 3-0 early.
And this is what happens when you're able to get base runners early at the beginning of the ball game. Feels like it's just a little drop of blood in the water, and then the Sharks start to circle, and that's exactly what happened. Nick Kurtz drew blood with a knock. Langoliers came up, took a bite out of it himself. Soderstrom followed suit, as does Jacob Wilson.
This meeting on the mound is brought to you by the injury attorneys of Ashton and Price. Gusto 25 pitches in. He's surrendered 4 hits, including an RBI single from Wilson. That was the last hitter. The hitter before Wilson was a 2 RBI double by Soderstrom. And the A's have a 3 spot in the first. Just what you want to see after a nice complete win last night at 5-2 over these Houston Astros, who are atop the American League West.
Well, if you can get base runners early and you can push them across, I mean, I think it's fairly obvious, but you give some run support to your guy on the mound who's yet to be out there. Kind of puts him in a little bit of a different mindset.
I mean, the 2-out hitting has been superb. We've seen that all road trip long, but these runs have scored with 2 outs. Now Butler will take a curveball in for a strike, 0-1. You think about last night, great pitching, solid defense, timely hitting. The offense has continued here into game 2 in the first inning. 0-2 to Butler. Just Butler's 4th game batting in the 7 spot this year. An 0-for-3 with a run scored last night. Has Wilson to work with at first and a 3-0 lead.
Well, we've seen Wilson move his way up and down this lineup at times, and I think if you remember how things were going early, it was about finding a spot for Jacob Wilson, maybe behind some guys who were also swinging the bat well, because they would be on base, which meant RBI opportunities for the man with incredible bat-to-ball contact skill. Gusto tried to sell strike 3, nobody buying.
Not a bad spot, but it forces Gusto to have to fire across a 30th pitch this inning. But that'll wait as he tosses over to first. Wilson back in, diving safely. Two-two pitch, and now Butler works the count full, 3-2.
Another good at bat here. Langoliers with a very nice at bat that resulted in a knock. Butler here taking it to a full count.
3-2 payoff. Wilson going, Butler swinging and missing, and that will retire this side. But 3 runs coming to score for the A's in the first. We'll see the Astros bats coming up next. So Cam Smith, the right fielder, the first of Houston's lineup to come up. First pitch is just outside, 1-0. Smith hitless in his last 3 games with an at-bat. He went 0-for-3 last night.
Well, if Jeffrey Springs can establish himself in the strike zone, and I think maybe even do so with that fastball like we saw Severino do last night. And there it is. I think he can very quickly put this Astros lineup on the defensive once again.
Severino had no problem establishing the inside part of the plate last night, and he found a boatload of success. As Springs gets a swing and miss from his changeup. And that pitch, despite the losing effort in Cleveland, looked good against the Guardians.
Sure did. And I think, as we kind of highlighted, his first few starts of the month of July and how they went, and coming off that little dust up with the guards. It's that pitch right there, the changeup, that I think has helped reinstill some of the confidence for Jeffrey Springs. You go out there with your main weapon and you know it's working, you feel like you can beat the world.
3-2. Smith, blooper to center. That'll drop down for a hit. Leadoff single for the Astros right fielder.
And with Jeffrey Springs on the mound tonight, it'll be his 20th start of the season. And I think the key has been the fact that the left-hander has paid a lot of attention to the whys. And when we talk about whys, we're talking about, why am I struggling? Why have I had success? How do I duplicate it? How do I move beyond some of the things that have really represented hurdles? And I think that's part of, growing into your veteran status. And for Jeffrey Springs, a guy who's been around, understands how this game goes and how important it is to be able to identify the need to make adjustments.
Here's Altuve, and this is interesting. I was talking to you about this before the game, but Jeffrey Springs has never made a start against the Astros, has 2 relief appearances, and has never faced this man, despite playing now in his 8th season in the big leagues, and all of them being in the American League.
Yeah, just 3 hitters on this team has he seen. Rodon Alvarez, who is not here. Caratini, who was not in the lineup. Or excuse me, Altuve waving at the bump, but we'll see right after Altuve.
And Trammell. Yep, who is not in the lineup. 0-2 pitch, bouncer foul. Well, here's the A's defense tonight behind Jeffrey Springs. In the outfield, it's Rooker in left, Butler in center, Kurtz in right, Urshela and Wilson on the left side of the infield, Schumann and Soderstrom on the right side, with Langeliers as the backstop for Jeffrey Springs. So Soderstrom moves from left to first tonight. And we know he can pick it pretty well over there. Oh, 2 to Altuve. Fly, foul, and out of play.
The Astros featuring a right-handed heavy lineup. Everybody in the lineup tonight against Jeffrey Springs will take their at-bats from the right side until they decide to switch some things up.
But it is reverse splits for Springs as his 0-2 misses high and outside.
Yeah, lefties hitting 256 against Jeffrey Springs. Righties sitting at that 226 clip, but there has been damage from the right side. 16 long balls surrendered to right-handers.
One-two pitch, ground ball to third. Gio gets rid of it quickly. On to Schumann, over to first, and a 5-4-3 double play. Gets the first 2 outs of the bottom of the first inning.
Well, and sometimes you just got to switch things up a little. Lefties, righties, maybe a different way to attack. And our friends over at StatCast, powered by Google Cloud, going to give us a peek at how the lefty does attack lefties and righties differently. You see the slider usage on the left-hand side against the left-handers at 179. And that's, I think, one of the key points. How you start to deploy your arsenal. And I kind of touched on it with Gusto. And you've got a sweeping slider, you've got a gyro slider, but you can see against righties the batting average on that slider, 321. Left-handers, well, they just don't see it quite as well. So I think it stands to reason.
Line drive to center. In comes Butler, and on the run, he makes the catch. So Springs faces the minimum. The A's lead 3-0.
August is in Ring of the Action. You can get ready for explosive fireworks, exclusive gear, and more. From backpacks to hats, there's something for every fan. These can't-miss promos won't stick around for long. See what's coming and lock in your seats at athletics.com/promotions.
Going to be a busy and fun month of August for the Athletics, and fun month for the fans as well. The A's lead 3-0 here in the top of the second, with Urshela and Schumann at the bottom of the order coming up before turning it up to Cortez for a second time against Gusto. Fired in 31 pitches in the first inning, and did surrender those 3 runs off of 4 hits. 2-0 to Gio. Tipped into Diaz's glove, make it 2-1. Urshela had a great game last night, going 3 for 4, just his 3rd 3-hit game of the year. The last time that happened was on April the 24th against the Texas Rangers. Popped up high in the air. Walker moving into foul territory and making the catch. 1 down.
Chris, we had mentioned the road for Ryan Gusto to not only get to the big leagues, but frankly just to get onto a baseball field. It had been quite an effort for Ryan Gusto. You're talking about a guy who, believe it or not, got a little Michael Jordan in him. Probably think, what? Ryan Gusto cut from his high school baseball team, not once, not twice, 3 times. Cut 3 different times, told, sorry, no go. Did squeeze a year in his sophomore year, but outside of that, no love. So he's probably thinking, well, this might be it. This might be the end of the line. No more baseball for me. But he got on the horn, started sending emails, found a college coach, and he said, you know what, I'm coming to you. I'm not done playing baseball. We're going to figure this thing out.
Swing and a miss, now 1-2, and not any junior college. Florida Southwestern State Junior College, which is a junior college powerhouse.
And so you can imagine what that college coach is thinking when he receives an email, receives communication. Schumann's able to hold up on the slider. Probably thinking, well, I think we're good here. We've got guys, we've got room. Well, he wasn't going to take no for an answer. And I think the diligence and the willingness to stare the adversity in the face, as he had done so all throughout his high school career, and at that point in time, seemingly into his non-existent college career, he was more than willing to do anything and everything it was going to require to get himself better, put himself in a position to be a ball player. And when you start thinking about a guy who sitting on the mound today in the big leagues, 6'4", 230 plus pounds, trying to figure out who he was physically, growing into his body, right? Just didn't have the stuff. You're that big, laying 84, 85 mile an hour fastballs in there. You're not catching too many folks' attention. But I think when you understand his story, what you take away from it is the willingness to stare that adversity right in the face and do whatever was required to get him to that next level, that next stage.
3-2, and Schumann has to wear a fastball up and in. Hit by a pitch. Schumann will reach. Head on over to first.
Well, 3-2, you'd rather this one just kind of sail up and out as opposed to sail up and in. Shoe going to wear that one right on the rear deltoid.
So Carlos Cortez up for a second time in as many innings, struck out to start the game, and takes up 1 ball and no strikes.
He got Cortez with that same fastball first time around.
Infield playing him to pull. Good lead for Schumann. Popped out of play.
Take you back to yesterday. Pretty big day for Cortez. He got in on the action early, sac fly. That would score Butler, then stepped up and got his first big league knock after already gathering his first big league RBI. Seen him make a great play out there, a great throw to cut down a double at second. Now locked in a little battle here. And I think it's nice for a ball player to come up, position player, you want to make an impact offensively, and maybe if that doesn't happen right out of the gate, you're just looking for any way you can make an impact. And that strong throw appreciated very much so by the veteran.
And Mark Kotze talked about it in the media scrum today. Cortez leading off the game. He said, I want to give him as many chances to see right-handed starters as possible. Obviously, with the performance that he had last night, makes sense to have him back in here tonight. 2-2, a breaking ball fooled Cortez. He strikes out for a second time. That's the 4th strikeout for Gusto. And with 2 away, Kurtz will come up.
Well, it's not the fastball this time around. It's that bender they kept away. That's a pretty good pitch there from Gusto. With depth, it was going to be a strike whether Cortez offered or not.
Well, Kurtz has certainly been a bright spot for the Athletics. It's time now for the Blue Moon Light bright spot. And when you look at Kurtz in the American League, he has certainly made an impact on the baseball. 38 extra base hits since April 23rd. That's the day he made his major league debut. Now he goes inside out, deep to left. Forget about that baseball. Come on.
It's ridiculous.
His 20th of the year, make that 39 extra base hits for Kurtz on the year. And that is a screamer to left, 5-0.
Chris, this ball is just sort of flipped out of the ballpark by Nick Kurtz. I mean, that's an 82-mile-an-hour backdoor breaking ball that he absolutely melts. It is just incredible to watch this power unleash itself. I mean, left field, center field, right field, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Take a look. I tell you, if you close your eyes and just watch the ball flight, and how about pops? Let's go. Oh, look, Chris, if you just watch him take batting practice far enough back where you can't tell if it's a left-hander or a right-hander, when he starts to work the ball out of the yard to the opposite field, it looks like and it sounds like it's coming off the bat of a right-handed power hitter. I mean, how about this? Opposite field home run leaders by left-handers. Nick Kurtz, top of the list.
This is ridiculous stuff that we are witnessing night in and night out. As Rooker fouls it away. Remember last year how we were sometimes unable to find words to describe Mason Miller's dominance? It is in that exact same breath for Kurtz and what he's been able to do in his rookie season here in 2025.
Well, I was talking to Blummer, Jeff Blum, Astros color analyst, just before the ball game, and we were talking about Oppo Pop. And he even remarked, he said the same thing that I just said. He said it feels like at times the ball coming off his bat looks like it's reserved for a right-handed hitter. And then no sooner did I look over there.
Bouncing ball up the middle, moving over his short sidearm throw to first, and that will retire the side. But Kurtz hits his 20th home run of the year, and guess what? It's to the backside in a big, loud way. The A's add 2 more and lead 5-0. Well, the A's have already matched their 5-run total from last night here tonight after a 2-run home run by Kurtz. They lead 5-0 here in the bottom of the 2nd inning. And they've given Springs some run support in Springs' first career start against Houston. You have to turn the clocks back all the way back to May the 2nd of 2021, where Springs was with the Rays when he last faced Houston. He got the win tossing a scoreless relief frame for the Rays.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to not see a guy that long.
It's kind of like Severino against Cleveland. He had to go all the way back to 2018 before his last start. And speaking of Severino, you're touching on something important. His dominance in his start en route to his 4th win of the year last night. What type of conversation can Severino have with Springs, or a guy that had that much success with the guy following the next night?
Well, it's really just, I think, about game plan more so than actual stuff. And I think it's understood Jeffrey Springs being a left-hander, a guy who's going to rely more on his ability to deceive the opponent, in Severino, who, as we have seen this season and saw last night, you know, at times he can just come right after you and challenge you with that good four-seam fastball, which is what we saw last night. And so I think for Jeffrey Springs, you know, it's just a reminder how important the fastball can be, especially for a guy who goes about his business the way that this left-hander does with that changeup.
They're firing on all cylinders. It can be a great 1-2 punch with Severino and Springs. He has Walker at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the windup and pitch, and he strikes out Walker on the changeup. Luis Severino has set the tone for the Athletics in this series. He's our in-shape endorphin player, and it hasn't just been this series, but over this road trip.
Well, for Severino, we understand how important for him it is to be able to go out and settle in early, feel comfortable early. And over his 2 starts in this road trip, I think he's not only been able to do that, but I will continue to harp on his fastball usage. And we watch guys try to work their way through a lineup first time through, at times with, you know, just the variations of the fastball, whether it's trying to sink it and run it in right on right. Maybe you throw that cutter against the left-handers, try to straighten them out with that 4-seam fastball.
And Aaron Diaz has hit .295 against lefties, getting his first start of the series. Did have a pinch hit opportunity in the 8th last night. One hopper to short, retreating Wilson. Here's the gun and the stretch on the other end. They get Diaz. by a half step.
Yeah, Wilson right on the cut of the outfield grass. See a little bit of a soft one-hop liner. Jay Willie, once he corrals it, he's going to rear back and fire away.
Here's the switch hitter, Cooper Hummel. 167 on the year, 2 homers, 4 runs batted in. Has struggled recently at the plate, as he has won for his last 24.
Yeah, that is tough sledding.
You can see that note, Dallas, 18 players on the injured list. That's the most in all of baseball, and I would think by a significant margin. Houston has had to go into their minor league ranks for some support here in a crucial part of the season.
Well, that's why player development is as important as it's ever been. You start to get to the latter portion of the season, should you need help, you'd like to think that you have a viable crop of talent to choose from. But, I mean, 18 guys on an injured list. And we're just a few spots away from having a full roster worth of injured players.
3-2 payoff pitch. Hummel fouls it off of Langeliers.
And I don't care how deep your minor league system is. I don't care how talented your minor league system is. When you start talking about having to dip into it to that extent, and maybe even going outside of the organization because just how rosters work, you just don't have the pieces in place.
3-2. Fly ball to left center. Lawrence on the run. He closes the gap and makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for Jeffrey Springs. The A's lead by 5. Top of the 3rd inning. Athletics lead 5-0. Chris Carey, Dallas Braden here in Houston. We have seen an early offensive surge tonight. You think about the whole road trip, the A's struggled to get hits in the 1st and 2nd innings. That has not been the case tonight. Already racked up 5 runs off of 5 hits. Langeliers is responsible for a hit and a run tonight. Popped foul and out of play. It's a very special weekend for the game of baseball. Anybody who observes, supports. Of course, the Athletics are wearing their typical batting helmets, but if you see Houston's caps, there are patches on the right side to commemorate the National Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, and all of the inductees, past, present, and future, as Gusto strikes out Langeliers looking. So there's that patch, Dallas. National Baseball Hall of Fame. And quite an impressive group is going to be inducted into Cooperstown this weekend.
Well, and there's that patch on those Kelly green lids for the Athletics. And you're right, Chris, it is a wonderful time of year. Time of year and a weekend in which baseball legends become immortalized.
Soderstrom bangs one to deep right. That ball is not coming back. And the Boo Birds are out in Houston. Soderstrom's 19th of the year, his 60th RBI. It's now 6-0 green and gold.
Well, these Astros fans have watched the green and gold drop 11 runs on their Astros here in about 11 2/3 innings, 11 1/3, I should say. And Tyler Soderstrom, remember he had that RBI double his first at bat. Steps up here, delivers a solo shot to keep the scoring going.
Wilson had an RBI single, snapping a 4-game hitless streak. He's ahead at 2 balls and no strikes. Sometimes all you need is one to get you back in a good spot. Saw it right through the middle, and now at 2-0. We'll take again. 3 balls and no strikes.
Well, lefties coming into the ball game slugging .514 against Gusto. 8 homers, .297 average. Jacob Wilson able to work the free pass. Let's take a look at where this pitch that Sodi rode out of the yard was. 86 miles an hour right on a tee. How about a Sodi pop to quench your thirst? Touched.
Fans in Houston must not like the carbonation.
Yeah, they're a little frustrated right now.
How about Soderstrom and Kurtz each homering in this game, right? Soderstrom obviously did more than enough to earn the starting position at first base, has had to move across to a different position with Kurtz and his ascent. And now Soderstrom continuing to perform offensively. I mean, this is quite an impressive thing to see. 2 guys that play the position at a high level. Soderstrom still learning how to play left and doing a great job over there, but 2 very legitimate and viable power threats from the left side for the A's.
That's it, left-handed thump.
Here's Butler. He shows bunt, but pulls back 1-0.
Well, he got the reaction from Dubon he was looking for. Dubon charging in, but headed right back to his original starting position over there at shortstop, which means that left side is still wide open should Lawrence Butler go back to that idea.
He shows again and drops one down. Dubon charges, gloves, guns to first, and Butler is out. Advancing Wilson to second.
Well, I got to tell you, you got to give credit here to Mauricio Dubon, because what he saw was Lawrence Butler pre-pitch go right to the bunt, and you see the hands and you can see Dubon charge. The minute he sees Lawrence Butler start to work that bat up into his hands, trying to push that bunt over to the third base side. This is just an exceptional read from Mauricio Dubon. And that's why we highlight how valuable it is to have a guy with his baseball IQ that you can sprinkle anywhere in the field out there. I mean, you don't win a Gold Glove by accident. They're not just handing those out these days.
Well, and you win it for essentially a new position as the super utility man. You've got to be good everywhere.
Well, no doubt.
Popped up again by Urshela. Another chance for Walker. And he completes the put out and foul ground. But Tyler Soderstrom leaves the building for the 19th time this year. It was a no-doubter to right. Bang. It's 6-0 Athletics early. Bottom of the third inning, bottom of the order coming up for Houston for the first time here tonight. 6-0 the score as Mauricio Dubon is up against Jeffrey Springs. Dubon gets hit on the first pitch. Springs missed his spot, and Dubon is aboard.
Trying to get in there with that fastball. Looks like it just clips that front knee or maybe high shin of Dubon. Oh, right off that kneecap. That does not feel good at all. Dubon gonna take his time heading down to first base. Scott Berry looking on. All right, here we go.
Here's Chas McCormick. 230 average, no homers, 2 RBI, 61 at bats. Dubon at first, and McCormick checking his swing, but not going around. 1 ball and no strikes. One of the keys to success last night for Severino and the A's pitching staff was taking care of the middle of the order. 3 through 9 last night when it combined 2 for 23. And when you're on the road against an order like this, against a team that is atop one of the divisions in Major League Baseball, and you're able to get them to go 2 for 23 as a unit, I think you win those games most of the time.
Well, and a lot of that does have to do with, what the traffic situation looks like with guys ahead of them. But if you can neutralize a third of the lineup at a time, I think you like your chances of having, some success, and especially if that third is the middle third of the lineup. That's where you anticipate, I think, the majority of the damage to come from. And I think, Chris, anytime that one of your teammates has an outing like that where they've been able to stymie the opposition to that extent, what happens the next day is there's probably just that little bit more added pressure for them to perform and not get dominated like that twice in a row. And that's where you can start to use your opponent's aggression against them. Maybe they start to expand the strike zone a bit more.
Springs from the stretch. Line drive off of the pitcher. And McCormick's going to be safe. That hit Springs on the backside, and now first and second with nobody out. He says he's okay.
Well, I think it caught him in an area where there may be a little more cushion than in some other areas. Look out. Caked up. You'll be all right. It reminds me of an at bat a few years ago. Sean Murphy wore one right off the backside. Almost just kind of popped it.
Why did I know you were going to go to that exact moment?
Well, because I think a lot of folks are probably thinking the same thing here. I mean, that is right off the caboose. And I'm not talking about Bobby Dynamite's up there.
It just goes to show the Athletics have elite lower body muscles.
Good foundation.
Good base. Throw to short. Now 3 balls and no strikes, and Springs running the risk of loading up the bases for Cam Smith waiting on deck. .30 is a strike.
Well, you've kept yourself in the at-bat here. See if he can't get Zach Short, who is looking to try to at least move these runners up. Maybe you get him to tap into something weekly here.
Strike 2. Schumann shades the second base bag, now backs out a bit. And the 3-2 pitch is swung through and missed. So Springs gets his second strikeout of the game in the first of the third inning. One away.
Well, and you go back to that 3-1 fastball that he dotted at the bottom of the zone. You could see Short and the way he took it, sort of leaning out over the plate, maybe not a real strong interest in firing. And I think Langoliers and the left-hander Jeffrey Springs recognized that and said, you're getting another fastball. I just don't think you're ready to hit.
Smith bouncing ball back to Springs. Quickly to second. Schumann on to first, and they get out of it. 1-4 to 3. Springs got exactly what he wanted. It's 6-0 A's through 3. We are in inning number 4, and the Athletics lead 6-0. As Schumann comes up for a second time against Gusto. He was hit by a pitch and later scored the team's 4th run of the game. Check swing foul, 0-1. Well, Max Schumann started the game at shortstop and led off last night, playing second base and batting 9th tonight. Has been such an incredible piece for the Athletics. So he takes high, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Mark Kotze said he fills that number 26 spot on the roster perfectly. Sometimes there are days you want to start him, but you know he's going to be a confident at-bat later in the game, and Schumann is earning more and more opportunities. He made a nifty defensive play at second base against Texas, turning a double play. And then now here, had a hit last night, playing over at second tonight. Now he grounds it to his counterpart Altuve at second, 1 away.
Let's check out our T-Mobile coverage cam. We highlighted Jeffrey Springs and his ability to keep the opposition off balance. Sometimes when you do get that weak contact, you've got to be able to defend yourself and get involved in the mix, and he does. Come back to right to him, fires it over to second base, and he gets that inning-ending 1-4-3.
Here's Cortez swinging and missing on a fastball, 0-1.
You know, one of the things that you really pride yourself on is being able to work around some of the traffic, especially if it is self-induced. All you want to do is minimize any sort of potential threat. You don't want it to mount, and if you can, you'd like to bring it to an abrupt end, and that's exactly what he did there. And you see him talking to his catcher right now just about some mechanical feels.
Oh, 2 into center, a base hit. Good 2-strike approach by Cortez, a 1-out single, and that'll bring up Kurtz.
Well, and you can see where they're set up. They want this up, out of the strike zone, probably on both accounts. Extended away and elevated. They get neither. And what Cortez gets is a fastball that he can put in play.
Kurtz 2 hits, a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Extending his hitting streak to 12 games. I mean, running out of words to say.
Well, just watch then. Because it is a thing of beauty every time he steps to the plate. You're just waiting for something different to happen. I mean, we mentioned it. This is a guy doing things that you're just not used to seeing, especially with guys his age.
He's going for homer number 2 of the game on that swing.
How about this, Chris? Over that 12-game hitting streak, north of 500. 22 for 43, including tonight, 2 for 2, a 2-run homer, a single. He scored twice.
1-2, high in the air, deep left center field. Traveling back, is Hummel, and it is off the wall. Cortez coming around to score, and Kurtz has a double to the deepest part of the ballpark.
Churn it up, Big Amish. A swing as smooth as butter, baby. My goodness. I mean, you close your eyes and squint, it's almost like it's a sprinkler up there because it just continues to spray, spray, spray in all directions. And Nick Kurtz picking on the left side here recently. And that RBI double is going to help Joe Espada make his decision. Gusto gone.
A's lead 7-0. We're back here in Houston, and it's been all A's tonight. RBI double from Kurtz, his third RBI of the game, his second extra base hit of the game, his 40th extra base hit of the season, and it's 7-0 with Rooker coming up.
Well, after the double, Joe Espada, we got Ryan Gusto. It's Nick Hernandez on now for the Astros, just his third appearance this season. And Chris, I know we've been watching what Nick Kurtz has done here recently, and I think it's really starting to take hold across the game.
Swing and a miss. Rooker down on strikes.
But when trying to contextualize what we're watching unfold, just take a look at this. MLB history, age 22 or younger, to log 19 homers or more, 50 or more RBIs, and a 975 OPS through their first 65 games of their career. Nick Kurtz, Houston's Yordan Alvarez, and Hall of Famer Albert Pujols. That's the list. It is 3 deep. One of them's a Hall of Famer. I think a lot of folks have big aspirations for Yordan Alvarez. And what we are seeing unfold with Nick Kurtz right now, and what we have heard in terms of evaluation from Hall of Famers themselves, the sky is the limit for this young man.
And it has been amazing by the athletic scouting department. They have been open and honest, saying that if they had the #1 pick last year, they would have gone with Kurtz. And Kurtz has more than played the part. 2-1. High in the air to deep left. Shea Langoliers has homered, and it's a 9-0 game.
The Athletics are just terrorizing the baseball right now. My goodness. Breaking ball elevated. Able to go up and get around it. And the man they call Shea Langoliers has lifted off again. To the deep part of the Crawford boxes.
Soderstrom had a home run last inning. Now he's ahead at 2 balls and no strikes. He, like Kurtz, has a pair of extra base hits and 3 RBIs tonight, as well as 2 runs scored. Nine runs off of 9 hits. Fouled away. I mean, the offensive talent has never been in question for the green and gold.
Oh, no.
For many of these guys being in their first, second, or third years of major league service, the future is very bright on the offensive side of the game. Swing and a drive down the right field line, but foul.
And you mentioned it earlier, but when you start to look up and down this lineup and you think about what Kurtz is providing from the left side, Soderstrom and what he's capable of, Lawrence Butler, I mean, you've got three really good left-handers right there alone. That's a 30-year lineup that you're going to count for. And there's pop, there's speed. We're seeing the ability to hit for average. And then you flip it over and you think about a guy like that man right there, two-time All-Star and Brent Rooker, the fellow who just left the ballpark, and Shea Langoliers. Let's not forget about Jacob Wilson, who was pacing Aaron Judge.
3-2, and he's caught looking. Shea Langoliers homers for a 15th time this year. A two-run shot to, as Dallas said, the deepest part of the Crawford boxes. It's 9-0 A's. You more of a cinnamon pretzel guy or a regular?
No, you're going to have to hit me with that salt. Hit me with that salt, brother. I can appreciate the cinnamon. That's dessert-esque.
I love the cinnamon pretzel.
You would.
Okay, well, that's fine. You know what else I like?
Tell me immediately.
9-0 lead.
I'm a huge fan of those as well.
At least we can agree on something. Altuve takes a high strike, 1-1. It has been all A's. 9 runs off of 9 hits, including home runs from Kurtz, Langoliers, and Soderstrom.
Yeah, old Yainer Diaz behind the plate for the Astros just hasn't caught many baseballs tonight. They've ended up over the wall, off the wall, up the gap. And again, I think for Jeffrey Springs, you know, you're staked to an early lead, and then you watch this offense just continue to bludgeon the ball the way they have. It almost helps really center your focus even more so.
Leadoff walk. Altuve is aboard. Here comes Victor Caratini. Well, you were talking about Yainer Diaz not catching many baseballs. Well, there have been a few people wearing orange catching a lot of baseballs. The problem is they're over the wall.
Yep, on the wrong side of it. Those are called souvenirs. But again, I think this speaks to a conversation we were having yesterday. As you know, we roll into town on the road during the second half. We've been met with a lot of compliments for what this offense looks like. I think people all across the game have either heard of and are now watching the talent that they've heard about. And I think the fact that it's coming from some of the places that I think initially put folks on notice about this lineup. We just showed you Tyler Soderstrom. Remember the home run barrage early this season? I mean, he's at 19. But then, as I mentioned, with what Jacob Wilson has done all season long, pacing Aaron Judge, early conversations about how long would they be able to hover around that 400 average. You and I were just talking about the great month of July, and you brought it up, the great month of July that we watched Lawrence Butler and Brent Rooker experience. But these are all things and all points of this roster where folks have been very excited about, and you're starting to watch it unfold. And I think tonight has been a wonderful peak.
And a tip into Langoliers' glove. He holds on, and that's another strikeout for Springs, 1 away.
Springs on a string. That's exactly what that changeup is. I feel like there's a slight fabric of DNA that extends from the hand to the baseball with Jeffrey Springs. You're watching him just manipulate that thing at will.
Dallas, do you think that there's any sense for this team after being swept by the Rangers? In some ways, there were some frustrating plays that took place. They took that anger into this series against Houston.
Well, as a competitor, you get frustrated when you're not executing. And when you're not doing the little things that you know you just have to do to play a clean game, a clean brand of baseball, which is what you're trying to do. You almost have that moment where you just say to yourself, what just happened over these last 72 hours? Just, we can't let that continue to happen. We all agree? Yes. And I know folks at home are thinking, well, does that really happen? Do you get together and have the, well, to an extent, you have those team meetings that we know have occurred throughout the season. But there's really no need to have to bring the room up and discuss things like that. They're professionals. They know what's at stake. They know what they need to do. And it's ball games like this that make you feel good about being able to get back to the brand of ball that you know you can play.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Christian Walker, who struck out swinging back in the second. Springs at 57 pitches. Altuve on first. Soderstrom holds him on. And the 2-2 home. Walker is caught looking on a changeup at the bottom of the zone. He's not happy with Scott Berry, has a few words and heads back to his dugout. And maybe a few more.
Well, he went down his first at bat, flailing at the changeup. Can't pull the trigger on this one, but it doesn't matter. Scott Berry saw it for a strike. And Christian Walker is going to agree to disagree.
Bouncing ball to short. Wilson grabs it, flips to the covering Schumann at second, and that will retire the side. 9-0. The A's lead. They're looking for more. So Jacob Wilson to lead off the 5th. The A's up 9-0 in game 2 of this 4-game series against Houston. First pitch high from Hernandez. 1 ball and no strikes. Pitch in, now 2-0. Wilson ahead in the count, and Hernandez to the plate is a big swing and miss. 2-1. It's an interesting setup.
Well, he's extreme third base side.
2-1, pokes the bat head out, goes foul.
And you're seeing him create a little torque. You see him in the way the angle of that back foot is, almost at a 45-degree angle there. And it looks like what he's doing is really trying to leverage, you know, the front side of that anchor. And when I say anchor, I'm talking about that back foot and the front side of it. So the ball of his right foot is where he's really kind of sink into and drive off of.
Strikes out Wilson swinging. So the benefit of that positioning is to generate torque, and he was able to get a fastball by one of the best hitters in baseball.
Well, and what it does is it just keeps, you know, there's a lot of different ways guys set up. But what it does for him is, you know, it gets, we talk about getting into your glutes, getting into the lower half. as you start to work down the mound. And you want to be in a position where you can utilize the ground. And you're trying to stay anchored as long as you can so that you can benefit from using the energy from the earth. And with that front leg cocked the way it is, what that's doing is just trying to reinforce a cue for him, which is just trying to stay closed, trying to stay linear down the slope.
Butler strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Hernandez. 3 straight going back to the 4th inning.
Slider kept it just slightly away, but caught a lot of the strike zone.
Gio has a pair of pop-outs to first in foul ground. He's 0 for 2. And swinging and missing on a fastball 0-1.
And with that slider, you can see again Hernandez on the third base side just trying to create a tough angle on these right-handed hitters. You think about left-handed pitchers against left-handed hitters, and if the pitcher's extreme first base side of the rubber, for those lefties, it feels like it's almost coming out of right center, right field from behind them. Just an uncomfortable visual.
Well, if Gio is unable to reach and is retired, it'll be the first inning the A's haven't scored in an offensive inning tonight. 3 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third, and 3 in the fourth. Fouled back, now 2-2. Hernandez is set, and his 2-2 pitch is outside, 3-2.
Well, no reason to stop at 9.
And he'll walk Urshela, 2-out walk, and now we'll hear a word from the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Schumann up. He was hit by a pitch. He later scored, then also grounded out. Swinging on the first pitch, a fastball. He misses, 0-1. The fastball in terms of velocity isn't going to blow you away, but I wonder if that setup is at all deceptive for right-handed hitters.
Well, the setup doesn't really matter much. I mean, because you're looking for that baseball out of a window at release. So whatever you might be doing with your lower half really doesn't matter much in terms of what the pitcher is doing and what the hitter is looking for.
Oh-2, lifted in the air to left. Hummel has it and makes the catch. A's unable to score in the 5th. They still lead by 9. They got it. They have a Shake Shack here.
Were you unaware of that?
Completely.
Really?
You're not lying to me right now?
No. Come on. Would I steer you wrong?
Do you really want me to answer that question? I know where I'm going tomorrow.
See?
I'll be darned. That's crazy.
Well, you're darned. I mean, I'm surprised you didn't see it when you stopped off at Pluckers right after you hit the golden chick.
Well, that was in Dallas. Bouncing ball to Wilson. Strong throw to first. And one is down. But you know me, I love to get out and explore.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
You guys don't call me Christopher Columbus for nothing.
I think you'd just be better served walking around. I mean, I've watched you do all sorts of things with your phone in your hand.
It's a technological generation. And you can't say that you don't use your phone either.
No, there's a world unfolding right in front of you, you know?
I get it. You got to tweet for work. That's fine. I did have Pluckers in Dallas, and it was good.
Delicious.
It was good. You didn't want to have it with me, and that's fine. You had eyes for something else.
Some breaded up chicken.
Well, they have breaded up chicken fingers there. They just say it's boneless wings. They're these 3 massive tenders that are boneless wings.
And we all know that boneless wings aren't real wings, so.
I think they're delicious.
Oh no. And that
you cut out all the issues of having the bone in the chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I got to believe boneless chicken wings at this point are just born. Those are born in a lab, right? That's not real. I mean, the bone provides integrity. It provides structure. It provides flavor. It's a handle.
You're talking about eating food from a lab.
Multi-purpose.
If we had a shot of what you're eating in this booth right now, the gummy clusters that you're crumbling up now and hiding.
Huh?
Yeah. Corroding your body with high fructose corn syrup.
Look, we all have decisions to make. And that right there, buddy, give me a piece of cornbread. I mean, sausage, chicken.
Brisket.
I'll take both those bell peppers.
Look at the bark on it. To Schumann, 2 down. Oh, there they are. Oh, look at this. Captain Healthy. We know you like your sour candy, okay? It's fine. Could I stand to lose a few lbs? Absolutely. Am I going to stop eating artery clogging food on this road trip? No, I'm not.
Well, it's just, you know, doubling down on the lunch is just something we might talk about off air. Yeah.
Can't wait for the Body by Dallas program. Line drive beyond the reach of Wilson. McCormick has another hit.
Well, a ball game like this, if you're the Astros, you're just trying to do whatever you can to either get an inning going or keep an inning going. At this point, you'd like to get the guy who has kept you off the scoreboard out of the game. The Jeffrey Springs at just 71 pitches, 72 on its way, right in line with his body of work. Can't believe you exposed the nerd gummy clusters. I thought this was the trust tree, partner.
Zach Short high in the air to left. This one's trouble, and it is gone. Short's second home run of the year. And the Astros get 2 back. It's 9-2.
And you kind of have to take that slow and steady approach here, down by 9. as I said, just trying to chip away however you can. And that right there, I think, shows you it's a changeup, but middle, elevated. Jeffrey Springs just at that point trying to make a pitch that I think he can have put in play. Almost had it. Oh! Came down hard on that railing.
Is that a pink shirt or a salmon color shirt?
Salmon. Definitely salmon.
I got corrected a lot when I was in the Northeast. They don't call it pink or salmon. They call it Nantucket red.
Wow.
Did you ever peruse like a Home Depot or a Lowe's and just hang out by the paint swatch section?
Looking for Nantucket red? Nope.
Chartreuse, periwinkle, lavender, Nantucket red. Fouled away. So Springs at 77 pitches, 1 strike away from finishing the 5th with a 9-2 score. 1-2 pitch. Change up low, 2-2.
This at bat here against Cam Smith begins that 3rd time through the order.
Sticks with the changeup. It's outside, 3-2. Don't want to get to Altuve if you don't have to. After Houston has scored 2 runs on back-to-back hits, including a Zach Short homer, his 2nd of the year. 3-2 payoff pitch. Lifted in the air to left. Rooker on the run, and he will make the catch at the warning track. So Springs through 5 innings. He's surrendered 2 runs after a short homer. That looks pretty good. I love waffle fries. 9-2 the score. Well, A's fans are happy right now. 9-2 the score. The top of the 6th inning. Top of the order coming up for a 4th time. And it's Carlos Cortez, who's 1 for 3 with a single and a run scored. He'll take a first pitch strike against Hernandez. Ball and a strike. Cortez 2 hits in his first 2 career major league starts. Did have his first career major league run scored after that single in the 4th inning. He was brought home by a Kurtz RBI double off the left center field wall.
He has had himself a ball game already.
Taken low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check swing, did he go? Yes, he did. Cortez down on strikes for a 3rd time. And it's time now for stats with lows. And Kurtz, well, we're not done talking about him. 22 extra base hits this month. And he leads by a significant margin. He now has 13 doubles, a triple, 8 home runs, and 22 RBIs this month. Launches this high in the sky, but it'll go foul. So back-to-back 3-hit games. Kurtz went 3 for 5 last night with 2 doubles and an RBI. He's got a single, a 2-run homer, an RBI double, and all 3 runs scored after reaching. 0-1 in the air to deep left. Houston, you do have a problem. His name is the Big Amish.
This kid is incredible.
10-2, his second home run of the night, his 21st of the year. And the Astro faithful are fed up with Kurtz.
And if you've got a seat to this ballgame in the Crawford boxes, just hold tight. Nick Kurtz will get you a souvenir sooner or later. I mean, what used to be impressive about a week ago is almost expected at this point with Nick Kurtz. And I mean, much like that homer back in the second inning, and now he drove both of those homers. But it feels like it's almost just a flick of the wrist for Nick Kurtz. And you could see almost just a defeated Hummel out and left. Watch that ball go up into the air, and he just knew it. That is not coming back.
I mean, it's foolish. 9 homers this month, second homer tonight, second two-homer game this season. And we're still in the 6th inning. He might have 2 more chances. The way this offense is firing in all cylinders tonight.
I mean, it really, I feel like it's at the point now where you sit and watch. You know, I'm not telling you folks at home anything that you haven't already discerned for yourself. He can hit it at any ballpark we're ever going to see. He can go the other way. He can cut the swing down.
3-2, Rooker, did he go? He did not. He'll reach for the first time.
Just take a look at how easy this comes. All right, change up a way that he stays on, and it's really just a poke of the bat. I mean, that is just a flip of the wrist. And again, that looks like it comes off the bat of a right-handed hitter who pulled that ball and got just about every bit of it that he could. Oh, I love it. Take another peek. See ya. Take a bow. Curtsy.
There's going to come a point very soon where either his dad or his teammates are just going to start to come to expect it. Celebrations aren't going to be as up and down jumping because the frequency of it is happening so consistently, especially to left.
Well, look at this. Homers by direction. And it goes without saying what kind of pull side power he has.
Popped up. Walker makes the catch and foul ground, 2 away.
So understanding what kind of power he possesses and where you typically see most of that damage done from these big sluggers, which is to their pull side. More homers to the backside, more opposite field long balls for Nick Kurtz than pull side. And that is, I mean, that's the definition of easy juice. I mean, with what you have seen from him defensively as well, and what we are watching unfold offensively, I mean, I don't know that there's a better option in baseball at first base right now than Nick Kurtz. You know, and something else to consider when you start to evaluate where he's at amongst first basemen in baseball. I mean, look at the extension.
Beautiful two-handed follow through as well.
But when you compare him to the rest of the crop of first basemen, and I mean, you start the separation, about 250 plate appearances or more. I mean, Nick Kurtz's name is all over the leaderboards. And the idea that he is positioned where he's at in some of these categories, understanding that, it's essentially 100+ at bats fewer than everybody else that he's chasing in some of these categories.
It gets even more impressive considering he was 1 for 15 with 11 strikeouts entering play tonight as a designated hitter. Well, that stat line has completely changed with a 4 for 4 night so far, 3 extra base hits, 2 of them being homers, and 4 runs scored, as well as 4 runs batted in. 3-2 fouled away.
Well, coming into tonight, Chris, there were 32 first basemen in baseball with at least 250 plate appearances as a first baseman. Nick Kurtz, well, he's got 265 coming into tonight. Weighted runs created plus of 163, first in all of baseball. Hard hit rate, first.
Payoff pitch in the dirt. Soderstrom walks. And now first and second for Jacob Wilson.
And that hard hit rate, 44.1%, as I told you, best in baseball. 622 slugging percentage for Nick Kurtz, the best in baseball. His 982 OPS, Chris, the best in baseball. 19 home runs coming into tonight, good for 4th. He now sits at 21. His 38 extra base hits have him tied for 5th, again coming into tonight. And the average, as we're watching it climb, was at 288 coming into tonight's affair. That was tied for 8th. And when you think about this, anyone with more extra base hits than Nick Kurtz has at least 148 more plate appearances than he does. I mean, it's incredible. It really is.
Other players are starting to take notice as well.
Well, and I think what other players have done, and some of those numbers are also why you're paying attention. Think about the polar bear, the way he's been clubbing the ball. He had the most home runs on that list of first basemen with at least 250 plate appearances. Again, coming into tonight with 22. Nick Kurtz sits now just 1 behind him at 21. Difference is, he's got 180 more plate appearances than Kurtz. I mean, everywhere you look, you can find another reason why you're so impressed with what he's done. Jay Willie, look out.
Two, fly ball to center. In comes McCormick, and he makes the catch. But Kurtz homers again. His 2nd of the night, his 4th hit of the night, makes it a 10-2 game.
Big ocean guy. From what I hear, though, we could have some visitors here around November.
So you're more of an ocean person than the ever-expanding great cosmos.
Yeah, yes. Yep. Yeah, we've got a whole world here unexplored. No need to strap yourself to a rocket.
And how about those hydrothermal vents? Those are pretty cool.
They are.
Yeah. How can it get so hot in a place where it should be so cold?
Science.
0-2 check swing. Matthews did not go around. He's pinch hitting for Altuve in a 10-2 game. 1-2, swing and miss. Struck out Matthews, and one is away.
The A's nonprofit partner of the game program is here. We are highlighting local organizations doing great work all across Sacramento. Select nonprofits will receive game tickets, a shout out at the ballpark, social media recognition, and more. Plus a donation from the A's Community Fund. If you're a 501c3 serving the Sacramento region, apply today at athletics.com/donation.
Caratini sends a charge to center, but not deep enough. Caught by Butler, 2 down. Here comes John Singleton in place of Christian Walker. I know you love the ocean, and for the Athletics, it has been a whale of a game offensively.
Well, a tsunami of offense, Chris.
Pitch high, 1 ball and no strikes. Singleton started last night as the DH went 0 for 4. Now hit the other way. Backhanded dive by Wilson. Gets to his feet. Throws to first, and they got him. From offense to defense. Leather larceny by Jacob Wilson. That'll end the 6th. A's lead by 8. Well, let's take a look-see at our Cache Creek Casino Resort upcoming schedule. Next week, the Seattle Mariners come to town, then an off day on the 31st. Then August starts, and the first to meet the A's are the Arizona Diamondbacks in West Sacramento. Then back on the road with an off day Monday, the 4th. A Mid-Atlantic road trip against the Washington Nationals and Baltimore Orioles. 10-2 the score here. A's lead by 8 in the top of the 7th. It's Lawrence Butler up for a 4th time. He'll swing on the first pitch and miss. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Engine light on, we can fix that. It's Caleb Ort out of the bullpen.
Right-hander on now for Joe Espada as we start to creep into the later stages.
Line drive, and it's caught by Shea Whitcomb. Few defensive changes on Houston's side. Whitcomb checks in at third, Bryce Matthews at second base, and John Singleton is at first. Gio Urshela 0 for 2 with a walk.
And with the score opened up the way it has, Joe Espada opting to get some of those regulars off their feet.
Well, the A's have been cooking tonight, and across the league, the stove is starting to heat up. The trade deadline looming. New York Mets made a move today, getting another Soto. But this one is a lefty reliever from the Baltimore Orioles to help continue to bolster that bullpen in Queens. That will be an interesting finish in the National League East.
Well, they've got some left-handers that I'm sure they'd like to be able to account for in that division. As Elvis Alvarado starting to warm up now for the A's in their bullpen.
3 balls and 2 strikes. And you see it. Mets and Phillies tied for first at 59 and 44. Miami is the 3rd place team.
Well, it almost makes you feel like, hey, Soto, you're going to go get Bryce Harper. You're going to go get Kyle Schwarber. Do not let them reach base. Sound good?
How about the month of July that JT Realmuto has had, too? He's really heating up at the plate. Last time I checked, he was in the 370s for the month of July. Schumann now taking strike one. Growing up around the Braves, you always thought that the big rivalry was Braves and Mets, with the amount of success Chipper Jones had against New York at Shea Stadium. That is a big rivalry between the Mets and the Phillies, especially late in the season when both teams are good. There's a lot of metropolitan passion out of New York. Fouled away, now 1-2.
Fanatical, yes. Maniacal at times, yes. Appreciated, 100%.
I remember hearing a story about when the Eagles won their Super Bowl. Was that Nick Foles year? I think it was 2017. They had to Crisco.
Yep, the lamppost.
So nobody would climb up.
That's knowing your city.
Fouled back. That is not an environment that would be very comfortable for visiting opponents to go to in the postseason. And when you saw what the New York Knicks were doing during the NBA playoffs, how deep they went, how crazy it was outside of Madison Square Garden, those could be two fan bases that are going to have a lot of fun in the postseason. Not to mention the Yankees are right in the thick of it too. Could you imagine a Yankees and Mets World Series in 2025 with all the storylines during the offseason? Juan Soto going from one side to the other.
On the Yankees feeling like, maybe we got the better end of the deal that we did not land Juan Soto in.
And the Yankees, they've added just getting Ryan McMahon from Colorado.
Yep.
To play third base.
And that's the thing right there, is to play third base. I know a lot of folks, instantly, and I think it happens when you start to talk about players from Colorado specifically, but you start to highlight, well, what do the road numbers look like? Because there's such a strong bias in place about what anybody in Colorado does offensively in that ballpark. But they needed help at the position. They needed help defensively.
2-2, ground ball to third. Whitcomb gobbles it up, on to Matthews over to first. And a 5-4-3 double play ends the top of the seventh. The A's will go to the stretch, up 8 runs. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Engine light on, we can fix that. Beautiful skyline, beautiful score line.
I am with you, partner, and Elvis Alvarado on now to keep that score line right where it's at least on the Houston Astros behalf. We have watched Elvis Alvarado, I think, start to really make some strides. See, it's Diaz to fly out for the first out of the inning. Jeffrey Springs, also a pretty good line. 88 pitches for the left-hander, got him 6 innings worth of work under his belt. Scattered 4 hits about Dyken Park tonight. 2 earned runs, 1 free pass, 5 punch-outs. Did allow a long ball, but at this point, a moot point.
We were talking about it in the open, just wanted to see a bounce-back start from him, even though it wasn't a horrible start against Cleveland, a shorter start than he would have liked, but now a quality start here tonight, in line for the win in a 10-2 game. Couldn't ask much more from your number 1 and number 2 guys in Severino and Springs here in Houston.
No, this is exactly how you draw it up, especially against a team that is capable of what the Astros are capable of.
So Urias is at second, and Schumann bumps over to short. 3-1. A's to come up in the top of the 8th inning. Cortez, Kurtz, and Rooker. Swing and a miss. 3-2.
Well, there's a couple things that are sitting right in front of Nick Kurtz, and that's a potential 3-homer game. That is still the potential for a nice trip around the bases, a uniform trip around the bases.
3-2, and Alvarado battles back, striking out Hummel with a fastball at 100.
Alvarado, aka the weapon in waiting, and you can see why. And I think what we've seen on him, even in this shot right here, just the head of Alvarado, how still it is.
Houston's had to employ a few different guys from the minor league. Shea Whitcomb back up from the AAA club. They added another player to their AAA ranks here today by claiming Logan Davidson.
Yeah.
Off waivers from the Athletics. So Logan Davidson is now an Astro. Whitcomb fouls it away, now 2-1.
And remember all the injuries that we have discussed with the Astros. You know, they're looking for help.
And for a guy that can play all 7 defensive spots behind the pitcher, that might help. Bouncing ball to first. Soderstrom moves over and will step on the bag. Alvarado, a 1-2-3 inning of relief. Through 7, it's 10-2. Across A's lore, there's been no shortage of rookie power, whether it was Jose Canseco in '86. How about Mark McGwire in '87? Giambi in '95, or Yoenis Cespedes in 2012. They've added a new one here in 2025, and it is that man, Nick Kurtz. The power that he possesses, his ability to go to all fields, we've seen it on full display tonight as he has contributed so much in this 10-2 game.
Well, his dad's getting a good shoulder workout in with all the fist pumps.
Cortez in the air towards left. That's hanging the line, and it is foul. A lot of fist pumps. I don't know if we've seen him churning the butter yet.
Not quite. I think we'll get there. You know, a lot of good feedback from the folks out in Lancaster.
It is a phenomenal nickname, and you've had some good ones. The problem is now we're going to start spotting sections at the ballpark in West Sacramento where there's going to be people, instead of clapping, they're all going to be churning in one motion together.
Love it.
And visiting fans are going to be thinking, what the heck is going on?
That's all right. They'll learn very quickly.
Or they'll churn very quickly. Ground ball to short. Quite literally. He throws over to first.
Well, you got to go all the way back to 1998. I was a freshman in high school. That was the last time that you had an A's rookie with a 5-hit game.
First pitch. Oh, my!
Oh, my goodness. It's unbelievable. This kid is on another planet. Nick Kurtz is in a universe all his own. That high-five line is very different than any other high-five line we have seen. His teammates at this moment in time are more so in awe of what Nick Kurtz is doing as opposed to celebrating what they're seeing. They've never seen anything like this.
I've run out of words. Colby Thomas up, swinging through a fastball, now 1-2.
Well, and he has sent Astros fans quietly, yet begrudgingly, out to the parking lot. They don't know what to make of it.
Best game of his young major league career is here tonight in Houston.
And for very good reason. We can start with 3 of them. Here's the last one. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, top shelf, churned and burned on. Raise a bar and raise a fastball. The big Amish can do it all. Hammer time. Second deck.
Swing and a miss. So 11-2 the score.
How about that? Last Athletic with a 3-homer game. Well, it was the Law Dog.
And wasn't that in July in Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm.
Something about the month.
I think it was August.
It was during that tear. Langeliers fouls it away. I'm thinking about that 3-homer game in July in Philadelphia for Butler as well. Something about this month.
I sit here and I just try to think about what the future holds for a guy like Nick Kurtz and what you're seeing unfold right now.
I mean, it could have been a 4-homer game. That double to left center was just a few feet short of what would be a 4-homer game instead of a 3-homer game.
When our men on radio, Johnny Dosco's been saying it this entire road trip. The 3-homer game is coming. The 3-homer game is coming.
And he was right. It happens here tonight on July the 25th of 2025 in Houston.
I mean, this is a night, as Langeliers works a 2-out walk here. This is a night that Nick Kurtz, along with his family, will never forget.
The way he's hit against Houston, you wonder this ballpark playing to his strengths for many years to come. Think of the man at the plate, Tyler Soderstrom, and how well he's hit in Seattle in his young career. Could this be a place? Bouncing ball foul, 0-1.
Well, the thing with Nick Kurtz and the swing that you are seeing is I don't know that there's a ballpark that technically suits him with his ability to drive the ball out of anywhere. and I say that facetiously because I think it's understood that, you know, parked in the friendly confines of some certain ballparks, you can really start to project what the offense might look like. But, I mean, opposing pitchers at this point would just be better served to let Nick Kurtz walk up to the plate, let his song finish, turn around and throw the ball over the wall yourself.
This has been fun. Fun game to take in. Now 2-2. Soderstrom's had a nice night. 2 for 3. A double, a homer, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. Swing and a miss. Soderstrom down on strikes, but Kurtz homers for the 3rd time tonight. Love him or hate him, tonight you can't possibly hope to contain him here in Houston. It's 11-2. Alvarado against McCormick. First pitch swinging and missing. 2 words. Nick Kurtz. That's my summary for you.
Enough said. Enough said.
I like to talk, and I haven't seen anything quite like this. This type of dominance offensively in a game where it's just being able to hit the ball anywhere he wants to at will. I mean, when you draft a guy and he comes up inside of a year, I don't know if the expectation is to perform like this. It's to see him be able to grow in the big leagues. He is performing not only like an all-star, but like an all-star MVP. That is the face of the sport right now. Bouncing ball to Urshela, 1 down.
And look, it is what it is. We, for a long time, we're talking about what Jacob Wilson was doing and how quickly he had acclimated to this level and how quickly his skill set was translating, how impactful it was already in such a short amount of time. I think that conversation is happening right now and on another level with Nick Kurtz. When you talk about the value he has brought, the value he provides day in and day out, I mean, there's nobody better right now. Nobody.
0-1 to Short, who homered back in the 5th inning. 11-2 the score. You start to ask yourself, what is he going to do next?
Well, and you know, I wouldn't bet against him.
Like Jacob Wilson, every time Kurtz comes up to the plate, you're on the edge of your seat because you know something is about to happen. And recently, more often than not, it's been something special. 1-2, Alvarado strikes out Short looking. Second strikeout for Elvis.
And Alvarado here tonight, I think we understand why, but it's sort of quietly going about his business with all the noise that Nick Kurtz has been making.
Well, for a group in Houston that is expecting Friday night fireworks after the game, they didn't realize it was going to happen during the game. And not from their team, as Ben Bowden starts to warm up in the A's bullpen. 3-0 from Elvis is a strike. Three and two. Elvis has battled back into some counts. Has faced the minimum out of the bullpen so far. Sat down all 5 hitters he's faced, including 2 strikeouts. His 3-2 payoff pitch fouled off. Three-2 is up. The inning will continue for Matthews.
I think a night like tonight starts to put everybody on notice about what this team is capable of, especially from an offensive perspective. I mean, I've highlighted what you've seen from a guy like Elvis Alvarado and how he can continue to fit into a group down there in the bullpen, and what that means to a lineup that is capable of doing what we have seen the Athletics do here tonight.
And they're not doing this, I don't want to say shorthanded, but remember the injuries of Denzel Clark and Max Muncy, who were both surging offensively in the right direction.
Well, there's been quite a few souvenirs deposited out in the ballpark tonight. That's homer number 3 off the bat of Nick Kurtz, and we found him. He'll go home happy.
Two balls and 2 strikes. Now 3 and 2. Taylor Trammell waits on deck. Payoff pitch. Struck him out. Elvis Alvarado has 3 strikeouts on his night. We're back here at the ballpark. Elvis Alvarado, 2 scoreless innings of relief in an 11-2 game. We're in the top of the 9th inning. And well, the bullpen has had to be active tonight, but to save some more arms as there are 2 more games in this series, Joe Espada has gone to the bullpen, or not really, has gone to a position player. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Engine light on, we can fix that. It's Cooper Hummel. And Urias flies it to left. Taylor Trammell is underneath. Here's Lawrence Butler, hitless tonight with a pair of strikeouts, looking for his first. There's 78. Registering as a slider. I think that's probably his fastball. Now 1-2.
Well, he's a get it and go type of guy.
Line the other way and a base hit for Butler.
Well, whatever we got to do to get Nick Kurtz another at bat, huh?
Right?
I'll say it. Law Dog just going to shoot it to left. Get himself a knock for the night.
Urshela rips it to left. That'll drop down and kick off the wall. Butler going from first to third. Urshela will head into second base, standing up. A single and a double, and it's Schumann now.
Well, Gio just trying to open up and do damage here. You can understand why. You got a left fielder out there on the mound trying to put one in the Crawford boxes. And Chris, Nick Kurtz has a helmet on, a bat in his hand. He is in the hole.
Can you imagine?
Yes, I can. I already have.
Schumann, ground ball. Nice play by the third baseman. Whitcomb throws to first. Butler comes in to score. Schumann has an RBI ground out. Now 12-2. And it's up to Cortez to keep Kurtz's chances alive for a sixth possible at bat.
Please.
Strike one.
I think you can understand if things start to open up a bit.
Line drive through for a hit. Urshela held up at third, and the chance has come alive.
Oh, buddy. I mean, how about that? First player in A's history with 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 RBI, and 3 homers. Buddy, I might jump out of this booth.
He's in a hitter-friendly count.
I mean, isn't every count for him hitter-friendly?
Swing and a drive deep to left. He's done it 4 times.
What a magical night for the Big Amish. Smooth as butter, baby. Turn it up. Incredible. Simply incredible.
Oh my God. Oh my God is right.
Astros fans here at the ballpark behind the dugout are on their feet, tipping their cap. First player in athletics history with a 4-homer game. Chris, I have been fortunate enough to watch a lot of baseball, watch a lot of good baseball, seen a lot of incredible things happen. History has been made tonight. And I don't think you or I will ever forget tonight. You go ahead and add the Hummel chapter to the book. Just another opposite field pump for Nick Kurtz. My goodness.
In the air, left center field. On the run, McCormick, and he makes the catch. This is something special, something out of a storybook. 6 for 6, 4 homers, and 6 RBIs, 6 runs scored. He has more than introduced himself to the world here tonight.
Chris, Nick Kurtz tonight has as many home runs as the Houston Astros have total hits.
This is a, like you said, a night I'm not going to forget. A night that he certainly isn't going to forget. 4 homers, 5 extra base hits. A July of storybook proportion.
I mean, just such a special night for a special individual. I mean, tonight's the night that he has put the baseball world on notice. You're looking at the best first baseman in the game right now. I felt that way before tonight's ball game, and that just reinforces the feeling. I mean, Nick Kurtz, the youngest player in baseball history with a 4-homer game. Time now for your play of the day, presented by your California Ford dealer. There's 1 knock, 1 homer. 2 knocks, 2 homers. We're not done yet. We're just getting started. 3 knocks, 3 homers. Well, let's spray it around a little, huh? All right. 4 knocks, 4 homers. Folks, there's 2 more hits to come. 6 for 6, 8 RBI, 6 runs scored. And sitting next to first base coach Bobby Crosby right now, trying to put words to it, and he can't. And partner, if you're wondering how the month of July has gone for Nick Kurtz, well, his .417 average is the best among AL hitters. The .488 on base percentage is the best. The .1042 slugging percentage, also the best. And you're right, so is the .1529 OPS. But the 21 runs he scored, those are the most. The 13 doubles, nobody has more. How about the 10 homers this month?
Line drive in the alley in left center field. That'll drop down for a hit, and Trammell will attempt to take second. The throw in is good, but just late.
Well, those 10 homers, those are more than anybody in the month of July in the American League. The 24 RBI, also more than anybody in the American League. And the 24 extra base hits, Chris, are also the high water mark in the American League. There has been nobody better this month than the Big Amish.
First player in Athletics history and first rookie in Major League history with a 4-homer game. You were talking about what his future will look like if he's doing this now in his early 20s.
Well,
what is he going to be able to do when it's all said and done, whenever that is? Bouncing ball to second. Urias has it, throws to first.
He very well might be at some point in time getting ready to write a speech for a weekend like we've got coming up here.
He went to Wake Forest. He's a pretty intelligent guy. I'm sure that speech would be excellent. But we get the unique pleasure of watching this play out for hopefully a very, very long time. Enter Diaz is up in a 15-2 game. Pop back foul, and very, very close. Now that would have been possibly a backbreaker for you, Johnny Dosko, calling a 3-homer game for Kurtz and then catching a foul ball.
Well, you know, something that
Fly ball to right, Cortez on the run. He still goes, but it slices foul.
And I'm glad we just had that happen. I'm glad you're able to bring up the name of Cortez, because we need to give him a lot of credit. Because without him shooting that ball back up the middle, we don't get the Nick Kurtz at bat. So congratulations for Mr. Cortez. A couple of knocks tonight for himself. But you're able to pass that baton along, and history is made because of it.
Okay. No balls and 2 strikes. Bounced foul. 15-2 the score. The type of game that can really start to turn things around in the right direction. Oh, 0-2 pitch, high. Usually when you have games like this, they don't happen on the back end of a 3-leg road trip. And this has been a Houston crowd that has been behind their team for years and years and years of success, and they have been silenced tonight by one man. Fly ball, well hit left center field. Colby Thomas moving over, and neither of them can find it in the lights. Diaz going to push for second. He'll get there, and Trammell trots home to score.
Well, I know there's been a lot of excitement in the ballpark tonight. A lot of good things have gone your way. But you got to finish the ball game. I think you're right. It looks like a couple defenders just sort of lost track of the baseball.
That'll go down as an RBI double. And the pitcher, Cooper Hummel, is up. Strike 1 on the inside corner. As we speak, I know you have quite a few contacts in the game. I'm getting a boatload of texts talking about Kurtz, and they say all the same thing. You just witnessed history.
Yeah. I mean, an incredible night.
Baseball world has been put on notice.
We sure have. Loudly.
Popped up and out of play. There's a new first baseman on the scene. He's the DH tonight, and he hails from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He's 6'5", 240 pounds, 22 years old.
And I know there's a Hall of Fame slugger himself by the name of Jim Thome, who is probably watching tonight, who has a huge smile on his face. We caught up with Mr. Tomey during our time in Detroit, and he had a lot of good things to say about Nick Kurtz.
Three balls and 2 strikes.
The Athletics having scored tonight in every inning but 2, just the 5th and the 7th, the only scoreless frames.
In the air to right, drawing Kurtz back. Now he slows and makes the catch. Diaz will move up 90 feet. The Astros are down to their final out, and it's Shea Whitcomb coming up. (15-3) the score. 1 out away from a historic individual performance and a big Athletics win. Strike 1. Driven to deep left. Colby Thomas broke back, now comes in. This should do it, and it does. The Athletics win 15-3 on the shoulders of Nick Kurtz.
Well, it was a historical night for a lot of different reasons. A lot of loud noise off the bat of Nick Kurtz. Glad his family was in the ballpark to see it. This will be a night that none of these guys on the green and gold will ever forget.
A's win tonight 15-3 on the shoulders of Nick Kurtz, the first major league rookie ever to have a 4-homer game. Nick, can you walk us through what you're feeling right now, the emotions? I mean, has it set in yet that you've made history?
No, I can't. You know, it's hard to think about this day being, you know, kind of real. Still feels like a dream. So it's pretty remarkable. I'm kind of speechless. Don't really know what to say.
I was going to ask you, man, how do you put in perspective, and you and I have kind of talked about it at times, but you're just a year or so away from being drafted and understanding you're just starting the adventure of becoming a professional, let alone a big leaguer. And here you are today, as Chris said, the youngest man to have a 4-homer game in baseball history, the first rookie to achieve this mark. What does it mean to you to be able to have this moment so quickly, so soon in your young career?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. The thing a year ago, I was probably in Arizona right now, right after the draft, and just getting ready to go out and, you know, play in Stockton. Now I'm here, and, you know, today kind of happened. It's insane. I don't even know what to say, Dallas. I mean, I got no idea.
Well, yeah. Nick, today is made even more special knowing that you had family and friends in town watching it. They've always known that you've had these abilities. I mean, what do you think was going through their heads as this moment happened?
Yeah, I have no idea. To see Pops and Mom there and the godparents as well. So it's pretty awesome to have them here. Just got in this morning, so for them to be here is really cool.
Well, I got to tell you, brother, you're going to have to ask old Jefe for a couple extra ice bags because Pops' fist pump, that shoulder is probably barking right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, get out of here, man. Go enjoy an incredible ball game with the rest of your friends, your family, and your teammates. An incredible night for you, Mr. Kurtz. Enjoy it, big dog.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.